How to actually journal in 2025. Hello and welcome back to Artful Minds. My name is Anca, I'm a visual artist and technical art director. I'm not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I am saying everything on the topic of mental health from my own experience, so you could say that I'm biased. But here is one technique that has truly worked for me throughout the process of developing self-awareness. And I truly believe that applying this technique will make your life a little bit better also. So let's get started. So what I usually do is that I spend, let's say 10, maybe 15 minutes every weekend journaling. And in this journaling, my technique is that I ask myself 4 questions. Every weekend, responding to these 4 questions has been helping a lot to clarify who I truly am, what I truly want in my life, what I truly like, what I don't like, who are the people that I want to have around me, who are the people that I don't want to have around me, what kind of job I would like to do, what kind of job I would not really like to do, and so on and so forth. You could even say that responding to these questions every weekend has brought me to YouTube. So here are the 4 questions that I'm asking myself every weekend. Number 1, how did I make myself proud this week? These questions are all about going back into the previous week and analyzing yourself and your environment. The question of how do I make myself proud this week is a very personal question. I want you to fully think of yourself. Not about how you made your parents proud, not about how you made your dog proud, not about how you made your partner proud. Just how did you make yourself proud? And I truly want you to force your brain a little bit to think of the positives. This means think of every small moment of this week that has made you proud of yourself and write it down. Just write it down on a bullet list. To give here a more straightforward example, one week I remember precisely writing down, this week I made myself proud by making the best pancakes I've ever done. And of course, in the spectrum of life, this is a very small thing, but for me as a human being, that was important. So think of these things. Another example of something a little bit more profound that has been on my list quite a lot lately has to do with emotion regulation. What does that mean, for my case at least, is the fact that I've been learning how to accept everything that I'm feeling and not try to run away from the negative feelings. This is something that I've been struggling a lot with throughout my life, especially during depression years. It has become a little bit shameful to me to feel sad or lonely or empty inside, or like I'm lazy today, like I don't want to do anything. So like all of these things have been becoming very difficult and shameful, difficult for me to accept. So I'm encouraging a lot of people nowadays to accept everything that they are feeling and to go right through their emotions, no matter how difficult they are. So that was question number 1. How did I make myself proud this week? Question number 2 is probably one of my favorite because it also forces my brain to think of the positives, but it's more about the positives from the environment, from my context, from my life. So this question is, what made me happy this week? As you can see from just the way the question is phrased, this is a lot about the environment. What did make me happy? Like what from the outside made me happy? A lot of times in my responses it would be seeing my dog playing with a stick in the forest or having my boyfriend surprising me with a really, really good dinner. I want you to force your brain to consider the small events in your life that actually bring you happiness. Because that way, you train your brain to understand that your life is actually pretty good. This is something that has been bringing so much into my life because I was tending a lot to believe that oh, this was a shitty week, like I'm just too tired from work or whatever, and maybe I had a fight with a friend or something, and this just like made me drown so much into being sad and feeling empty and feeling like I don't belong here, feeling like the people around me don't appreciate my work, and so on and so forth. And in all of these weeks, there's for sure something really, really pleasant to remind yourself of. So try really hard on the weekend to just think back at the good parts of your week. It could even just be someone on the train made you a compliment. I don't know in how many countries this still happens. I guess not so many. At least here in Switzerland, not too often. Or maybe your kid thanked you for something that you did for him or her. The smallest things, just please put them down on a bullet list, and trust me, it's going to bring so much more joy to yourself at the end of the week. I encourage you to put on the list things like, I loved watching Harry Potter again. I loved walking in the forest. I loved going to the gym. Smallest, daily, mundane things. Just put it on the list. So question number 2 was, what made me happy this week? Question number 3 is the opposite of it. What made me anxious this week? Well, for sure not my favorite question, but it has brought me a lot of knowledge about myself and about who the people around me are, how important they are in my life truly, and how much they actually want me to be part of their lives. This has helped me a lot to clarify my relationships, my friendships, and of course, my career life. So I encourage you to write on this bullet list things like, I didn't like how my boss talked to me, or I didn't like that my friend was not supportive enough about this project of mine, or I didn't like the fact that this person ghosted me, or I didn't like the fact that I forgot about an important meeting. Therefore, this question is about both outside and inside scenarios. I want you to think not only what has made you upset, but also what about your own behavior hasn't been making you proud. So for instance, in my case, there are weeks in which I'm not as patient as I wish I was. Therefore, on that specific week, I would write down in the bullet list, I wish I was more patient in this situation. So question number 3 was, what made me anxious this week? And to give you more of an insight, this is a question that has helped me realize how toxic social media is in my life. And no, I do not see YouTube as being the basic social media, but more on that maybe in a different video. Question number 4 is now a little bit of a conclusion of all of the above. Question number 4 is, what did I learn this week? And I want you to not consider this question being limiting. So don't only think of, I learned a new scripting language, or I learned a new piano song. Don't only think about things that you've put the time and energy into to actually learn, but think of the conclusions also from the questions that you just replied to above. On the example of patience, maybe an answer that I would write on the list of what did I learn this week would be, I learned that I would like to be a little bit more patient. This is a question that is supposed to draw a conclusion from all of the above, but also to remind you of your small daily progress. So of course, feel free to write down things like, I've learned how to better manage my team at work, I got a good advice from a friend and I applied it in my life and this has taught me this and that, etc., etc. So that was question number 4. What did I learn this week? I'm going to say again all the questions that we've been asking ourselves, and that would be, how did I make myself proud this week? What made me happy this week? What made me anxious this week? And what did I learn this week? And think about it truly. if you are to spend 15, I would say 10 to 20 minutes, but like let's just make an average, 15 minutes with yourself every weekend, analyzing who you truly are, that would be, let me calculate. It would mean that you spent 780 minutes on your own mental health throughout an entire year. And in hours, this means precisely 13 hours. 13 hours that you get to spend just with yourself by sitting every weekend 10 to 20 minutes and writing down as a bullet list the answers to all of the 4 questions above. I hope you enjoy this, and let me know how this exercise goes to you. Let me know what you discover about yourself. Of course, as per usual, if you like this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. There are a lot of you people watching this channel without being subscribed. So I hope to see you next time. Stay creative and take good care of your mental health.